Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today I'm going to show you how to auto-farm Wyrm. But before we start, don't forget to leave a like, share and subscribe if you enjoy the content. So, Wyrm is a very difficult boss, probably the most difficult that we have had, and some specific mechanics of the boss make it extra difficult to auto-farm. But we can do it. You just have to know how. So, number one, be sure to select a step that you're comfortable farming with. I know that maybe you are accustomed to something higher. For example, I usually farm on 51, 61. When I'm lazy, I do it at 41. But right now I'm gonna do it at 41 because I want to lower the bar a little bit. When I'm farming daily, I do step 31. But right now I'm gonna do it a little bit higher just to show you how effective this is. So be sure to select properly the right step, and then we have this team. Basically we only need Lapis and Shisui. Spinel is just a generic attacker that we're going to be using. So what does this team offer? So Lapis is going to be a healer and a damage dealer at the same time. Because of that, we're using Gloom of the Worshipper. Usually we would use other weapons, like she doesn't get that much value from this specific weapon, but in this specific case, it is probably the best option. Like, no other weapon is gonna offer a significant effect. This, most of the time, you're not going to use, even if you have Bride and a Rose, yeah? And the other weapons are just not good enough. They're not gonna offer you, like, anything. Maybe the summer weapon, not Swordfish, but that's about it. So, why do we use this? To increase the damage from Spear Barrage and other attacks. We receive an attack buff when we use that skill. We're gonna use Anti-Human Wind Magatamas, whatever Magatamas, both weapons 5 out of 5, plus 15. Then we have Spear Barrage, Gem Support, and Moral Boost. Gem Support to heal the party, Moral Boost to increase defense. If you want to change Moral Boost for Piercing Dash, that's fine. For supporters, we have Haruka, Arabella, and Lilim. All of them F2P, pretty easy to get. For skins, we have these. These are the stats. And the stats from the stat training. Now, basically, Lapis is going to heal our auto farmer because other healers cannot perform effectively on this stage. The stage is very big, so Emily and Shizuru are not great options. Besides, they are limited by the range of their healing area, unlike Lapis, which heals no matter where they are. And Felicia heals on a debuff, and the enemy is immune to debuffs for a section of the battle, so it's not recommended to use Felicia on this specific boss. So the next one is Spinel. Spinel you can change for whichever character you want, maybe Phantasma, maybe Astaroth, whichever good attacker you have is gonna do great here. So why am I using a Spinel? Basically because she's going to buff everyone else and they're gonna deal a little bit more damage. So I have Photon Beat Saber, which is an SR weapon, but it's anti-human. And it's 5 out of 5 plus 15. The other weapon is also 5 out of 5 plus 15. Anti-Human Magatamas, Earth Element, whatever Magatamas. Crystal Shard Burst, Piercing Thirst, and Demonic Arm Detonate. All of these are gonna give attack buffs, so Spinel is going to do a ton of damage. We are using Mido Haruka, Arabella, and of course Kirara. If you don't have Kirara, you can use other things. You can use, for example, Hebiko. You can use, let's see, there's few options, maybe Inagenatsu, but specifically for this character, like Spinel. If you have, oh yeah, you can also use White. White is generally good for everyone. But if you're using an assisted character, you can use New Year Felicia. If you're using a protective character, you can use the second copy of Lilim. If you are using What else? Let me see. A character who has summons, you can use Sakura. Sakura is pretty good because it covers 2 roles, so there's options. And basically white is kind of the best option, but as you can see mine is S level 1. For costumes, these are the stats, and for stat training, this. Lastly, we have Shisui. Shisui is the auto farmer, obviously. She's gonna be like, you're gonna see the strategy. I did 2 kind of strategies with her, and I'm gonna show them both, but the first one is gonna be the most effective one. So we're using Guardian Gear Type 26, the limited weapon, 4 out of 5 plus 13, and this one, a Crimson Weapon, 5 out of 5 plus 13, Anti-Human Water Magatamas, whatever Magatamas, then Power Engage, we require this, Bombs Away. Bombs Away is useful because it's going to give you mobility, and you know that you're going to be like stuck in the fire pit, so this is a nice trick so that you can escape, and it also gives you defense. And Guardian Touch to increase your defense too. Then we're using Gear Shisui because she increases a lot the damage of Guardian. It also provides us with HP recovery, and it decreases the damage taken from suppressed characters, which is going to be very good for Spinel, but you can get the benefit with other characters if you want, like Astaroth, for example. Then we have Sharia to reduce damage taken from humans, and Akina to recover HP. In the case that you don't want to use this or you don't have it, you can use different things. You can use, for example, Hisui, and you can change the colors depending on what you're going to do. You can use Hisui, you can use Aina Winchester, you can use Sakura, Shadow Fairy Sakura, you can use Kamiki Suzune. And here there aren't that many options. On red, it's like there's very few things that increase your damage reduction, and there are some conditions that you cannot meet. So that you cannot meet. Well, this is the strategy right now. These are the stats from the costumes and the stats from the stat training, and also the awakening ones, just for those who do not know. Basically, I have everything but the PvP, some critical evade, and the EXP. Those are the ones that I don't have. Everything else is maxed out. So yeah, let's test it. I know it's going to work. I usually farm on step 31, but this is going to be fine. Oh, 41 is okay, because I'm going defensive. I usually go offensive, and I'm going to show you the other strategy. It's a beatdown strategy, and it is riskier. You don't need to do the other one. This is way more effective, and yeah, you might die in some situations, in some cases, but for the most part, it's fine. So, as you can see, Lapis is kind of required. You cannot change her. She's going to constantly heal your auto attacker, and you also need to make sure that your auto attacker is able to survive in most situations. That's why I'm giving her damage reduction and healing. But at the same time, you also want her to deal damage. That's why I have the limited supporter over there. Unfortunately, I didn't step on the pit, but normally you're gonna get on the pit and you're gonna receive a ton of damage. But also, Lapis is going to heal you, so it's no issue. So yeah, I'm not gonna touch a button at all. I mean, I don't have the controller connector, just so that you know. I'm playing with the mouse. So in any case, it is not that difficult as long as you select the proper step. You want to be able to beat the enemy. If the enemy has too much, withstand your attacks for too much, and deals enough damage to you, you're going to die. So yeah, make it easy. Don't dwell on it too much. And I'm also going to show you the beatdown strategy. So for this one, we're changing this one for the red one, and everything is almost the same, but I'm going to put this because it increases my damage by almost 50%. That's 48% more damage. You can use Yukina if you don't have it. You can also use Stella. You can use Momochi Nagi. There's different options depending on what you want to do. But since I'm going to do a beatdown strategy, I'm going to be using Stella so that the basic attacks get a damage increase. So yeah, this is going to provide me with a lot of damage. And even I did some runs where I had both HP increase, minion HP increase, and also red damage reduction. And I was still able to beat this auto farming. So trust me, it is fine. As long as you select the right step. Yeah, it is considerably more difficult than other VRs, but it's still doable. And you don't have to, if you don't have the White Feather Aska and you cannot rely on the Super Armor Break strategy, that's fine, that's fine. Just be sure to deal as much damage as possible. The reason why I don't use Susune, Gal Lilim like now is because I learned that a considerable amount of a third of the battle is gonna be, the enemy is gonna be immune to debuffs. So we don't want that. We don't want supporters that activate on debuff. Instead, we want supporters that give you raw damage. Another excellent supporter that you can use is Misaki. Misaki is going to give you damage just because you're on BR, but that's for green builds. Let's see, white is pretty good, but on higher S levels because you want a higher chance, and especially on fast attackers and multi-hit attackers. I don't know, New Year Felicia is another great option. If it gives 40% or more damage increase, you want to use that, basically. And if you think that's kind of big, go for 30. We have received a ton of things that are F2P and give us 30% damage increase. So yeah, you saw it, it's pretty easy. But another thing to take into consideration, you have to be willing to spend potions. Most of the time you won't need them because Lapis is going to be healing you. But there's going to be times where you occasionally die, so be willing to spend your potions. Since we have the infirmary now, nobody should be struggling with potions. Unlike the very start of VR. But yeah, it is fine. It is not that hard if you just try a beatdown strategy. Those are like kind of great. Or the White Feather Aska strategies. Remember that. And as I was saying, you can use whichever attacker you have. You can use Emily as a buffer because of Sledge of Blessings, and she already deals a lot of damage. You can use Francis, yes, of course. Like, it's not my first option, but yeah, she deals a ton of damage on blue. You can use Sakura and Tokiko, anti-human, if you have the weapons. Some of the most effective characters that we're going to have for this VR, whenever we have the weapons, are going to be Lina and Ingrid. Those are pretty promising, but they just released, so nobody has the weapon 5 out of 5 unless they use Demonite, which would be pretty bad, but to each their own. Also use Phantasma, also use, let me check. You can use Soboro and abuse the debuffs, but only, I only suggest this if you already have a good S level on her weapons, like 5 out of 5. If you have it at S level 1, it's kind of, she isn't dealing enough damage. Unless you're tackling lower steps, then in that case it's fine, because you don't need that much damage on lower steps. So yeah, guys, that's about it. I hope you find this useful. I hope that you make a build that is able to auto-farm this. Yes, I know it's hard. Yes, I know you're not tackling the same steps as you used to. But as long as we don't have to bother, I think it's okay. So, that's it for today, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye!